Alright, so here we go, 9 o'clock. This is officially No Man's Talk. No Man's Sky Talk. Our very first attempt at a talk show while playing No Man's Sky, about No Man's Sky communities, including the Amino community, whatever's going on over on Reddit, and whatever's flying around on Facebook and Twitter. So, welcome everybody. I am Reaching Nexus, and this is...
I am No Man's Sky Survival Gear.
Excellent. So, let's start with the original. We did the poll on the Amino app, and the poll was, everybody wants to know about the update. When's the update coming? What's going to be in the update? So, I diligently went out, scoured the internet for that information, and as we discussed a little bit earlier, what did I come up with? Absolutely nothing. Like the same rumors that everybody's been spreading around since December. It's Hello Games has actually better information security than the White House at this point. It's insane how quiet they are.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really incredible. They must have a phenomenal gag order on all of their employees. So we can basically...
Or they're just covertly doing it. I mean, they're probably out there lurking. Because I did a Reddit post a little while ago, or a comment, and somebody actually accused me of being Sean Murray, and I was like, I don't know, I think I'm gonna roll with it for a little bit.
So it's like it's a good thing and a bad thing, right? I mean, it's people. There's definitely a fan base that is dying for an update, that wants to see the game grow, that likes what they're doing. But then at the same time, you know, you have this rumor mill that builds up these unreasonable expectations, and then, you know, people come back and try it and they go, no, it's exactly what I thought it was, and they leave. So
that's one thing I thought about with, there was also talk, well, maybe they're going to bring out multiplayer this next update. And I made a comment saying, hey, if they're going to do multiplayer, they're going to have to do it perfectly this time. Because that was like the #1 issue that everybody was pissed off about, was there's no multiplayer, the multiplayer was a lie. But if they actually have to do multiplayer, they're going to have to pull it off like flawlessly. So I don't think it'd be even time for a multiplayer yet.
Yeah, I honestly, I think they'd have to bring in some guys from Sony to get the multiplayer going, even on PSN. I don't see them having the server bandwidth or the developers to get it done right away. So I think their shop would have to grow pretty significantly if they were going to do a legitimate multiplayer in No Man's Sky. And then at the same time, like, you know, you need to create some governing rules, because, you know, it's such a chill game. I get to play, I come here, I relax, I explore some planets, and then I get ganked by another player who spent the time to upgrade his ship. You know, I don't know.
It starts turning into like Grand Theft Auto Online.
Yeah, like that's what I'd be afraid of.
Going down the street and enjoying Grand Theft scenery, you know, some guy that whatever.
Yeah, so for me it's really like, okay, maybe if we had conflict zones, like if you had the old Star Trek model where you had the neutral zone and that's where conflict actually occurred, possibly
third parts of the region are actually under conflict, but then you have green zones.
Yeah, like there's green zones where you can just explore and be unencumbered and not have to watch your back every 5 seconds. That would be nice, because you're already, I mean, especially in survival, you're already competing with the elements, competing with other creatures on the planet, competing with resource scarcity. So then to add just pissed off angry griefers, I don't know. It just doesn't sound like fun to me. But at the same time, you know, the passive multiplayer seems decent. Oh, here you go. Mr. Sinclair offered they should have a center of the galaxy conflict zone. I can agree with that. Maybe have like a contested ring around the black hole, and if you could do like a faction system. So if your faction controls the contested zone, you have access to the black hole and can put people through to the next galaxy. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I'm afraid of multiplayer.
Getting in depth like that, yeah. I still see myself doing single player, because the only multiplayer part I really would like to be like if someone's going to wander planet together.
Okay, yeah, like a cooperative mode.
Yeah, mainly more cooperative modes, more freedom of exploration, maybe try and do systems with, there's already been talk of land vehicles now, doing like races and stuff around the planet.
That's true. See, I would go for that, like a 4-person co-op mode, where you can actually get together and build a pretty serious, established civilization on a planet. For that, I would be in 100%. That would be awesome. Yeah, that would actually make my day. And then that's the other thing, is I like what they did where you can leave messages with the communication ball. You can leave messages for other people. I like that. I would love for people to be able to stumble upon your base. So instead of it being destroyed into the ether when you move, just have it left abandoned for someone else to find and reestablish. That would be nice. It'd definitely make traveling a lot easier. Like, you just happen to stumble upon someone's abandoned base and, you know, get to go in, and there's already terminals in it.
Even if they were to stumble upon your current base without seeing each other, but stumble upon your current base and then choose whether to keep your base or two.
That's true.
I don't know how that.
So, like, you have multiple bases?
I think multiple bases would be cool, but it'd be kind of confusing. But they have to have players be able to delete other players' bases, and that's the problem I think they're trying to have with that.
Right, that's true. I don't know. I still haven't found a ship to follow. It's like the one day I haven't seen anybody flying. So that's interesting. Alright, so we already talked a little bit about the land vehicles, but I went out and I did a whole bunch of research and found out what the data miners have found as far as land vehicles go. And it looks like they were pretty close to launching it with this update, and then for some reason didn't pull the trigger. They probably, with a few more days, could have actually launched this, because they have quest lines in there for the land vehicles. They have they've found assets for a terminal, for a mechanic. So, and then that mechanic has a whole series of fetch quests and upgrade quests to build the land vehicle. And then they found a whole another set of item upgrades and materials. And I'll just go through the list real quick and then we can talk about them. So they had jetpacks, alpha, beta, gamma. I know you have thoughts on that. They have the tune-up.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
They have tune-up, alpha, beta, and gamma, which I'm assuming is speed. They have storage upgrades, just like you do for ship and for exosuit. And then they have 3 levels of cannon upgrades too. And those are apparently mounted cannons on top of the vehicle, and they will change the aesthetic of the vehicle as you upgrade them, which is pretty neat. So
now, I'm wondering with the cannons, if cannons could also bring about a larger sentinel, because I mean,
that's true. Go out chasing big walkers, or someone had suggested maybe that would be for taking down like your 8 meter, 7 meter, 8 meter creatures on the planet. Which I guess they could add a resource.
Like a mining tool.
Yeah, there's nothing in the code files for that.
Well, I mean, they could add it on this next update, since like the code files are probably just the work that they didn't complete.
Right.
So what they'll do is they wanted to add maybe the mining beam. So instead of taking forever to do your iridium, you'll end up doing a giant cone that'll take out larger sections.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So it just like, instead of like your plasma cannon would actually just take out everything in a specific area, and you get all those resources.
Yep.
That'd be pretty cool.
Well, I mean, that'd be like one of the upgrades for that vehicle or for that weapon type.
Okay, so to be clear, that's not actually anything anyone's found, but that would be really cool.
No, but we're talking speculation at this
Absolutely.
point right now. And
yeah.
I know, like I'd like to try to stay away from it, but I was thinking also, like, talking land vehicles anyway, since we already know that it's most likely going to be in the game. What things would be practical for a land vehicle to do?
Oh, absolutely.
And I think mining would be one of the most practical things to do, because I mean, you can just do tons of all kinds of different resources.
Well, given how difficult element exposure is on really severe planets, I think tunneling would be a fantastic addition for any land vehicle, so that you could actually make like tunnel routes between, you know, your base and a crash ship site, or, you know, from points of interest.
Yeah, building a tunnel. How? I don't know, really much to say. Anyway, the problem with building a tunnel is actually once you time the planet builds itself. I actually found that out with rock garden.
Oh, it fills itself.
I found out also it fills itself back in over time.
Oh,
I ended up
okay.
taking a gigantic hole, and when I made that hole big enough, it actually started growing iron in it.
Well, see, I'd seen that, but I hadn't seen them actually disappear. I'd seen them fill in with iron and other types of carbon and sort of become normal tunnels, but so they'll actually over time fill themselves in with just standard rock.
I'm guessing, you know, I'm guessing they are, but I just put like mainly cracks in the ground. So if it had an open air, like open to the sky, maybe that made a difference. But
Oh, maybe. See, I've ruined so many of my feeds digging tunnels. My live streams are just, yeah, just me digging tunnels before I had any kind of suit upgrades, and all I had was my plasma cannon. It was just hour after hour of tunneling between point A and point B. Go up above ground. Oh, there's my 30 seconds above ground, and then back underground. It was like, it's the mole person of the planets I was on. So Mr. Sinclair here.
Would be pretty cool.
Yeah, Mr. Sinclair here says deep seawater creatures, Godzilla class, and gas giants in space. You'd take visual stimulation over multiplayer any day, and that's something I have to agree with. Though I'm right on the pole. I keep flying in and out of the midnight zone, into the sun and away from it.
I've loved doing that.
Yeah, it's just awesome how you just transition through the evening and then the morning. That's so cool. That was like the biggest exciting moment for me, was when you posted that video of the sun going around the pole, and that ended up.
There goes another research that Artificial Beauty anyway voted on. I'd seen was our research projects.
Oh yeah.
And I know Le Force Cyril, right? Anyway, he was wondering why I was staring at the clouds for 2 hours one night. Well, tell you what, I figured out the cloud movement pattern, because I was so worried about it with my Shadow Pilgrim series that all the clouds just rotated all the way around the planet, as you would think, in one direction.
Sort of the way that the stars do. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you got to the pole, basically the clouds above you would just be rotating the big circle. But I found that not to be the case. It actually originates from one point at what I'm calling the cloud poles, because those are going to be different than your actual sun and star poles. I don't know, they're random. And
so if you find this point, they actually go out away from it in all directions?
Yes. On larger planets, it's hard to determine, but basically the clouds start to slow down, and at one point I ended up finding out if I turned one way to where the clouds were moving one direction to my right, and then I would turn the other way, and then the clouds would still be moving to my right. So they were basically expanding out in front of me.
Huh.
It was really weird, and it made my theory correct. So I just basically flew all the way around the planet, hitting spots, and
just looking at the clouds.
Direction was, I was looking at the clouds, figuring out, and I went all the way around the planet and was close enough to my beacon, just by getting out every so often and looking at the clouds.
That's pretty cool, man. So that's good. So then that is a good navigation method, because you can find the poles of those clouds. So I'm assuming if there's a place where it always goes out, then there's also a place where they always converge?
Yeah, But the thing
How
is,
does that
the
work?
problem is the way I think it is because based on, you gotta think of the planet scale. The planets are huge. And so the circle at the top for where it's going to be either generating or coming back in is going to be a big area.
Okay.
So I really wouldn't be able to map it out, and I'm kind of upset at the fact that you can only place 5 beacons per planet.
I know, it's become a challenge. I wasted, well, I didn't waste them, but I have a North Pole and a South Pole now. So I have my white beacon, I'm flying towards the South Pole right now. And then I have my red beacon at the north. And then I have 2 landing pads, 2 safe landing pads, which means I only have 1 beacon left. And that does kind of stink. Like I would, or even if I could put down communications terminals and have those show up in the scanner somehow. Because I was thinking about that. I thought that would be fun to build a planet where you just traveled the whole planet and then put communication terminals all around it and made your own lore for that planet. That would be a lot of fun. Like you could declare battlegrounds and you could declare how canyons were formed, or if there is a particularly messed up part. That would be fun.
Well, I thought about doing that with Dude Boat Mode Me, the planet I'm on now.
Okay.
Because I was going to make a whole history of it, because I think that it's actually like a historical marker in the game. Steambot wanted to drum up some support for the game by saying, hey, it's possible to walk completely around the planet. And the one dude made the navigation app and made that as a waypoint because he wanted to find that place.
The Pilgrim Star, yeah.
Yeah, Pilgrim Star. Well, when I went there, and I thought, after the Foundation update, I don't think anybody's ever tried drummed up enough support to make major gaming news. I'm going to repeat the process.
So, but then you got there and it was not solid.
No, it was not the same planet, because in survival mode, planets somehow change.
Well, I think the atmospheres can be different, right? There's more varied atmospheres in survival.
In survival, what I found out so far in my planetary exploration is that in survival there are more planets without any that have like the rare resources that are found on hazards like Canonesium and Coruscant and stuff. Those planets that don't show any of those are always 90% of the time hostile sentinel. And 90% of the water planets you're going to run into that don't have any hazards are hostile sentinel as well.
Huh.
I haven't found a safe water planet yet. Not one that I can safely wander around on.
Yeah, that's
over probably 100 of them.
See, but now you've got me wondering, because I remember there was a universe reboot when they released Foundation. So now you've got me wondering, like, you're gonna have to travel to Pilgrim Star in normal and in creative mode and see if it's still the same. To see if it's a water world.
I'm already there in normal. And it's a cold world.
Oh, okay. So it actually is different between the two. Wow.
It is different between the two. And I think what happened is what they did is they copied it. Basically, what everything was named. But when they put survival, they basically used a different formula for what planets contain what.
Oh, okay.
Because to make it more difficult, to make things more hazardous, I guess. So you're always going to have more hazardous planets available, and that one changed in the rotation. Even though it's named the same, because everything in No Man's Sky is in the exact same location, and it's always going to be the same.
Right, it's just what's going to be on it could be different. So that makes sense.
Here's an even crazier point I found out. The terrain is almost the exact same.
But just the water level is higher then?
The water level is higher and there's different flora and fauna.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So you can find all of the landmarks that were originally there, but some of them are underwater and some of them are above water as islands.
So that may explain a lot of people wondering why there's a lot of stuff under the water.
Because it was a pre-existing planet with already predefined locations, and then they just... Ah, that makes sense. I finally found some ships, so I'm gonna start tailing them now, making good on my promise. I found a landing pad. I got 2 that are following each other, but they're pretty far apart, so I don't know if there's a good chance they're gonna interfere with each other or not.
I think I'm going to move on to a little bit here or Amino news.
All right.
I know I've noticed we got a lot of new members, and some of the people don't know maybe what's going on, or I know everybody's kind of looking at the picture page and the hot topics lately have been for the hot to new curators. Now, I was just kind of flipping through it, and I know leaders got what they're going to do going on with it in the comments, so I encourage everybody to go read through the comments and kind of get to know who could be our next curator. And if people are wondering what a curator is, it's kind of like a your second in command for leadership. They have some leadership capabilities, but they don't have the full-fledged law of those leaderships. But with having to have 2 of them now, which means we're basically hoping to get a whole bunch of new members, and that's partially what I guess Reaching Nexus and I are trying to do with this show, is maybe bring some more support here, because I'm also planning on maybe we're going to expand this Reddit if we finally get ourselves maybe a little bit more legitimized and more professional, because they're a lot more picky than the Amino community is.
Well, that's I was gonna say, man, I'm so happy to have found the Amino community, and I'm pretty sure you're the one who introduced me to it from the Reddit boards.
Oh yeah.
And
I've been trying to handpick people from Reddit that I've noticed exemplary posts from, or like you were inspired by my one post and you did the polls out of it. I thought, that's great, research projects. I mean, our community has all kinds of different things, from artwork to comics to just people expressing their journeys, and this is amazing how positive. This is like the most positive thing I've ever seen on the internet, actually.
Yeah, I mean, the community's really been exceptional, because I was starting to get a little bummed with the Reddit community. Because you had the really engaged people, and they're still doing great work. They're doing a lot of screenshots, and some people are posting videos. But anytime you try to have
actual serious discussions out of it too, because like even programmers are getting on this and talking, like, okay, hey, here's where Hello Games could have done better on this, or here's this, and it does generate some good discussion. But there's a lot of people. It's like, I bought this, put 60 hours in it, and I shelved it, and nope, I'm done.
Oh, I'm so happy to not see that on Amino. I mean, I really am, because that was the one thing that was driving me crazy. It's like people who are honestly admitting, I've never bought the game, but I'm still here trolling this forum anyway. It's like, why?
It's really weird.
Yeah, so for that, man, Amino the Amino community for No Man's Sky has been really phenomenal. It's really lifted my spirits, and it renewed my interest in the game. Got me into those research projects, got me looking for bugs, got me looking for emergent behavior, and and everybody there has been really cool and supportive, which is nice. Especially Mr. Sinclair here, if you're still here, Mr. Sinclair.
Our one and only. But no, okay, we got people that probably want to on.
Oh, it'll be recorded.
Somebody else see it.
Well, all things start small and then grow. But yeah, man, that's been great. So the one thing that I saw that was nice is there was probably 6 or 7 people who have already volunteered as curators or put in their, so to speak, application.
Yeah,
I was surprised. yeah, usually people are not so forthcoming with volunteering, especially not in like on the Reddit community or anything like that. But
I mean,
yeah, they were happy to do it.
We've got quite a few veteran members that have been on here since the beginning. I mean, they may not be higher level, but level is basically how much time you spend on. You know, and that doesn't matter. It just matters how much you care about the community, of course, and what people's plans are and how it should be run. And there are a lot of guys that have been on here and really definitely working. Or some of them that I thought would actually jump all over the opportunity. You're like, well, I wish I could, but I have no time. And yeah.
Well, yeah, it is a time commitment. Yeah.
But I mean, like Kirby, he's been posting quite a bit, and I think he'd be good for it. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The other thing I'm asking for people to do on this thing is, if you are joining to try and be the curator, really want to do this, just don't be upset if leadership doesn't ask you to become it, because I mean, there's a lot of people that actually want to do it. It's probably hard on them to do, but I mean, yeah, I'm running for it. Sometimes you guys just say it. I probably may have a good chance for it, but if they say no, I don't care, because I love the community itself.
What I really like is the variety. I mean, the absolute variety of content we've been getting in the community. We've got fan fiction, we've got personal artwork, we've got all the screenshot guys going out there and just doing some amazing work in photo mode. We've got people doing YouTube. Now we've got a talk show. I mean, it's, you know, it's got the research projects. It's just awesome. I mean, and that's the kind of environment, though. It's the kind of environment that leads to these collaborative ideas, and it's been really good. So any contribution from anyone in the community is okay in my book.
Which reminded me of something that I can't remember which user it was that said, well, I don't think my opinion may not matter, but, and then they posted their opinion, and I was sitting there going, well, everybody's opinion matters. It doesn't matter if you're level 1 or day 1. Everybody's opinion matters on the Amino.
Yeah. I mean,
we're just a collective.
It's been
each other. Yeah.
It's been good. Yeah. So, all right. So I got another piece of news here because I don't want to just restrict this for people that are on PS4. I've been keeping up with the PC mod news, and the one mod that I really liked that I thought was good was the Big Things mod. It was done by GTD Carthage, and that mod, while it had some issues like collision issues and stuff like that, some render issues, went out and made it way better and made a curated version of the Big Things mod. Or no, I'm sorry, GT Carthage made the curated version, which is called the Megaliths mod. And so what it is it's instead of like Big Things makes everything big, all the props, all the plants and the rocks, this one just makes select items. So a lot of the iron objects will be huge, a lot of the really intricate trees will be huge, but it's just very specific items. And so if you go and look at some of the video and some of the screen captures from this, it completely changes the game. It gives you legitimate landmarks in the game that you can navigate by. So you'll have like 3 iron spires that are, 10, 12 meters tall. And you'll have other places where they render very close together, and so you have these canyons of iron stalactites. And it's really, it's worth checking out even if you don't have the PC version. It's worth going and looking at videos of it, because the work that he did on this is really great. And then he also made some changes to how items pop into the world. So there's still there's still some problems with it with pop-in, but he changed the engine just a little so that things render farther away, and then he reduced the number of things that get flattened out into those sort of flat shadow elements on the horizon. And it worked out really well because the mod itself creates some obstructed view, so your view distance is a lot shorter unless you're in a ship. But on the ground,
Yeah,
it's
it almost makes it look like a canyon.
yeah. I mean, on the ground, it's amazing. Yeah.
It is.
So that was really cool. If you had the PC version, definitely go out and look up the Megalith mod, and then the other mod that GTD Carthage did was the Constructs mod, which adds a whole lot of variety to building types and towers and sort of these random, techno future buildings that are left behind. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, some really creative stuff. So I just wanted to give a plug for that.
I think those console peasants jealous.
Oh, I know. I see them. I see those mods, and I'm just like, oh, I wish I had it on PC.
Farming
But
Simulator has mods. Why can't No Man's Sky?
I know. But from what I've read, my PC wouldn't run it, so so I didn't bother. But yeah, definitely cool. Worth checking out.
Oh yeah.
Definitely worth a mention, because I know on Amino we definitely have people that use PC.
That's one thing I'm surprised with. I haven't seen any pictures of the Megalith mod on Amino yet.
No,
So
and
maybe I don't know.
it'd be
Maybe
nice if someone
smart.
installed it and started using it. That'd be great. So let's see, what else in the news? We have a new Supreme Leader, according to the
Yes.
the
Vapid
recent
Wolf.
news. Vapid Wolf is the new Supreme Leader. And
The
that was
only Brit amongst the leaders.
Britain's
in charge of getting guys.
that was a lot of fun, actually. I like to see the banter between the leaders during the campaign. That was good.
Yes, it was.
And then what else do we have? We already went over the curators. Kirby won Vapid
actually,
Wolf's
I want
Deep
to go back
Space.
to that for a sec.
Okay.
Hang on. I want to go back to that because we were also talking about Vapid Wolf becoming Supreme Leader, which means a lion named King would be stepping down. A lot of you probably may not. This player would definitely never is, but some of you who would be happen to watch this don't know who he may have been. I may end up just coming back to that because I gotta figure out where his post went.
All right. Well, I'll fill the gap here.
Yeah.
Because what I wanted to
talk.
what I had in my notes here is I wanted to give props to Kirby because he did win Vapid Wolf's Deep Space photo contest. So his photo, which is a pretty amazing shot of a freighter in space on a green. It was in a green sort of atmospheric background and a whole fleet behind it. Quite lovely. That will be incorporated into a future Amino, No Man's Sky Amino theme. So that's pretty exciting for him, and I wanted to congratulate him on that, because I was actually a fan of that photo.
Alright. Oh, I got it now. A lion named King, when I came on in December, he probably wasn't, he was kind of busy doing what he was doing with, working for Spotify, and he's got, trying to juggle his professional and personal life while dedicating his free time for guiding the direction and shape of our community. But what was it? He ended up having to go and work for, trying to flip through and read it as quickly as I can, but he ended up having a lot of work and big things that he's got going on in, I guess, production and Hollywood type stuff, so good for him, and probably wouldn't be able to dedicate enough time for it. That's why we needed a new leader, and now looking for 2 new curators since Dope Art has become the next in the underranking of leaders. Well, monks, all three are basically the same, but you always gotta have the one guy in charge. Basically the one guy to point the blame at if something goes wrong.
So there you go. So goodbye and thank you to the old king and hello to the new king.
Yes.
I think we just left the atmosphere. I don't know what we're doing here. These ships are flying in the clouds. This guy, oh, we're leaving. I wonder where we're going. I think we flew around half the planet. I've been tailing these ships pretty much since I found them. And now we're leaving the atmosphere. But I'm telling you right now, there is nothing in front of us. So I have no idea where they're going. I half expect them to warp out of here once we get out of the atmosphere. And I'm kind of afraid to follow them because my ship's loaded down with all kinds of goodies for pirates to steal. Oh, there's freighters up there. There they go. Alright, I'm not gonna follow them to the freighters. So we didn't get the bug on that one. If anybody's watching on my side, I apologize, we didn't find the bug on that one. They're probably too far apart. I'm sorry?
What bug were you looking for?
It's the bug where they get in formation too close, and then they start overcorrecting.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So, I was hoping that they would do that, but they were falling pretty far from each other. So let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, the Valentine's Day poetry thread is pretty awesome on the Amino group. So if you haven't gone and looked at all the posts there, that was a lot of fun to read. Oh, here we go. I found 3 flying in formation now. Oh, and they're already jacked up.
That. There was a good one on there. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was good. Oh, I found another port. Sweet.
Oh, I think we kind of almost ran out of all our...
Oh no, I have more. I have more. I did a lot of... I've been all over the forum today.
7 minutes in.
I've got, let's see. One thing I've been following, there's a thread out there. It's, Your King Fergie has accepted a challenge from Mr. Dopesart and DeGrills for the best cinematic space battle shot. And he's been leaking...
I do remember that.
Yeah,
yes, I do remember hearing about that.
So he's been working on it diligently, but at the same time he's also can't control himself and has been leaking screenshots here and there from that, and I gotta say they're pretty spectacular. So that's worth going and checking out.
When you started leaking that, it kind of reminded me of when I was doing making my challenge and stuff, because I was getting all giddy because I started making the scoring system for the hardcore survival challenge, and it's still open to anybody if they're willing to walk around in survival for photo mode. But I made this challenge. I was sitting there going, oh, I've been doing all this stuff in survival and photo mode. Check this out. Check this out. Oh, I'm thinking about making a challenge. And yeah, I could not help but leak that. Yeah, I'm gonna make a challenge doing photo mode survival. But nobody knew about the point scoring system. So
yeah, I mean, I went and I started doing photo mode survival after you posted that, but I haven't come up with a video that I'm willing to submit yet. So
I've actually been kind of surprised because I know I've only had 2 official Amino submissions, and that would be Blue Sky and Artificial Beauty. And Blue Skies was a good attempt and was in Polish, and I enjoyed that because I think the voice on that one was a lot hotter than ours.
There you go.
She sounded attractive in Polish. But no, they made some interesting runs and some good attempts. I mean, Artificial Beauty was amazing at having to get resources in a hurry, because once your shield's offline, it's like, okay, run for a cave or look for some platinum.
Right.
So, I mean, they're really good attempts, which made me think I'm going to have to actually make a video
showing what my survival techniques are like wandering through, which also on the poll I'd seen one of them, NMS Galaxy, had quoted for talking about survival tips. Gather iron.
Yeah, the survival tips. Yeah, that was one thing on the poll. Now it's gather iron, gather platinum. Never pass up either one. I would say is number one. And
if you're running, don't worry about running. As long as you can always get enough plutonium and you have carbon available, just keep running, make some power gel. That's what I've been doing.
yeah, I go back and forth on the power gel. I find thamium to be abundant enough that in some places I can run, but I don't know.
I started doing some survival games over on my sub account. On the sub account, I'll just run a new survival game, and one of them, I did not run into a single bit of thamium until I was like a minute from my ship.
See, that would be a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I ran everything on power gel.
See, in that case though, I would walk in that case. I don't think I would run because for me personally, it's just like making the power gel. I'm taking away resources that I could be putting on my mining tool. I'm taking away resources that I could be transferring to my ship so that I can repair it when I get there. I don't know. I think the power gel is actually like a false drain. I think it has too many uses. Whereas like platinum and iron, you know, what are you gonna do? Charge up your pulse engine with it? But it's so abundant, and so it's not really a big deal to have multiple drains on iron. And then platinum, there's really nothing you can do with it except for make shielding shards and occasionally a tech upgrade. But there's not nearly the same scarcity as there is with plutonium, and plutonium's that forced scarcity of it's everywhere, but I need it for absolutely everything I own. So I don't know, usually I'll opt for the walking. I know it goes back and forth, and some people do really well, and I know you do really well making power gels, but I always feel like I'm grinding when I do it.
Yeah, it is a grind, but normally what I'm doing is I'm gathering everything. If you're getting to a 1 point and you start out your survival, and you're just trying to get to your ship point as fast as you can, because you just want to get to your ship, and grab everything on the run. You see that rock as you're running by? Mine it. Turn around. You can, even if you just hit it at the right point by turning around, you can still be sprinting backwards.
Okay. Well, alright.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
I just mine everything. Yeah, I just mine everything. I just keep my mining beam going. As
well,
long as I can find a decent amount of plutonium to start.
See, I had the one video that I thought I was going to submit. It's the one that I started where the ship was only 5 minutes away. And I was doing so well. I had found the ship, and I got a little greedy. I was in a cave, and I was mining iron. I wasn't paying attention, and I was mining too close to the mouth of the cave, and it was one of those ones where it's like a crater, and then the cave is down below it. And so there's a lip that you have to jetpack over, and I pissed off the sentinels, and they just stormed, like 3 of them stormed down into the cave and took me out. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't jetpack out, I couldn't kill them. I was just done.
That's right, I do remember that one.
Yeah. So I was going to submit that, and then I was like, oh no, never mind, I died. So.
The funny thing is I actually did score that.
Oh, did you?
It wasn't on the second life you found the ship.
The second life, yeah, but I had to go back and do the same run, and I had already gathered all the resources on that run, so the platinum nodes were all gone, and the iron nodes were gone. It's just miserable.
It was an alright run. I mean, finding the ship alone was 50 points, but I kind of thought, you know, you were able to see the ship smoke from the distance. Like from the start, basically. That's like a lucky ass move.
Yeah, it was a perfect start, is what it was.
It was a perfect start. But what was it like? I made like 20 points for having a new game because actually I was surprised that everybody's only doing new games. I also mentioned for some of the veteran players who got all their tech upgrades that they wanted. I thought those guys would storm the field, but
well, I mean, with
yeah.
my regular game, I can pretty much, especially like on this planet, I could walk indefinitely. I got a good candidate for the bug here. These ships are flying really close to each other, and they keep having to make corrections. But yeah, no, I mean on this planet I can walk indefinitely. I walked. The polar episodes were it was 7 episodes. It's like 10.5 hours of video, and I think I only spent about 35 minutes of that in my ship. So, like on this planet, that wouldn't make any sense. I guess I could fly to a planet that was more challenging. Because this one's not all that hazardous. It's a dry planet, and during the day, standard heat shielding is plenty. At night it gets cold, so you have to have cold shielding, and then storms are a 3 drain, but they only last about 2 shielding shards, and you're done. So as long as you always have 3 shards in your inventory, you can pretty much survive anything. The only thing that
one thing I never really realized about going over a water planet was the amount of platinum I'm going to run through.
Oh, because you're trying to keep your breathing up. Your water
the breathing apparatus is up, and that's
right.
It's surprising. I probably maybe 5 hours so far out from where I started, and I've already gone through 3 stacks of platinum.
Wow.
I started with 4 stacks. I decided to start with 4 stacks on the journey. So I thought, okay, cold planet. It ain't gonna be too bad. 4 stacks will keep me busy for a while. Oh, the water planet has been eating it at 5 hours out. I can't believe that.
Well, and that's the thing is you've got very little landmass to collect platinum from.
Yeah.
So I mean that's what keeps you alive in survival, is having platinum pretty much around every corner, over every hill.
So I pretty much figured I'm gonna have to every virtual landmass I'm gonna have to go and find platinum on it.
Just have to scour the whole thing coast to coast until you move on.
Yep.
Oh, here it goes.
I know that my navigation good.
It just corrected. It just started. I got a little wobble from the smaller of the 2 ships. And now it's sort of exaggerating. They're getting a little more wavy, but it's not enough for it to kick in fully yet. Oh, it's so close though. I'm getting excited. It'd be so awesome if it reproduced. Alright, so let's see, what else? Oh, I wanted to give a shout out to Alex Ignis for the fan fiction Starletta. I read chapter 13, and then now I have to go back and find all the other chapters. I read chapter 13 and I read the prologue. I gotta go look for the other ones because I was enjoying that. And Artificial Beauty posted a pretty sweet video that was found on YouTube, posted by Nathan Dawkins, called No Man's Sky Be Spontaneous. It's just a quick little 1-minute video, and I can't really say much about it other than it had excellent use of music. But I don't want to say too much because I don't want people to watch it and I don't want to ruin it for them. So that one was good. And then...
Yeah, was it Netic Camp? Another one I don't want to ruin, but it was a really good one.
Which one was it?
I'm sure again. It was just recently. He posted a video of him walking around a planet. Like it was only like a couple minutes long. Pretty good.
Yeah.
He's kind of peaceful stroll with the wildlife.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a good one. And then there's somebody posted the door. I forget where I saw that.
Oh yes.
Do you remember that one?
I saw that one on. Yes, I saw that one on Reddit, so I decided to share it on the Amino because that one was really trippy. It was on No Man's Sky in Reddit.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that was a really good one.
Cool.
And then, let's see. Oh, and then there was the one thing I wanted to discuss before we end the feed, because we're at 50 minutes, so we only have about 10 minutes left on the feed.
Ooh, wow.
And
Half hour just flew by.
I know. So what I wanted to bring up was Asifer put up a poll asking which type of planet is the best, which I guess is pretty subjective. I tried to give it a little bit of thought as to... I don't know best. I mean, I know which one is the worst for me, and that would be the water planets. I can't stand them.
I'm finding that out even more now that, I can't stand the damn things either. Not going completely around one.
And then even worse, I ended up on a frozen water planet. So all I can imagine is that that water is just some horrible liquid hydrocarbon. But you go in the water and it's like double cold damage if you're in the water. And if you're out of the water, it's single cold damage, and then at night it's triple cold damage. And then there's storms. And
that was the one thing I'm glad it wasn't cold water out there. Oh man.
So for me, I think that's the worst. But I haven't really come up with the best. I voted for rocky because I like the dry rocky planets.
The best for survival is the Stadonian planet. Those are basically the only planets I found to be the safest planets, the Stadonian one.
Yeah.
But my favorite overall is Candonesium.
Candonesium? Those are the... no, isn't that frozen?
Planet, sorry.
Oh, radioactive.
That's
okay.
Radioactive. Yeah, sorry. I like to call them by the resource names for some strange reason.
I just like the Geiger counter sound. The Geiger counter sound that your suit makes when you start to die from radioactivity.
Well,
and I always sorry. I always think of like when I'm patching up my suit because I've let it run down to hazard protection offline. I'm always thinking like if this really was radioactive, like my teeth and my hair would all be in the boots of my suit at this point, and I'd be bleeding out of every orifice on my body. Like there's no way that you could have your hazard protection go down to 0 and take that damage and not come out of it in really bad shape. But we'll let that go. I'll suspend my disbelief.
One thing I want to know when we're on top of the polls is what sky do you look out on by Krabby39? Basically asking where's everybody from? Of course, right now 60% is owned by the Americas, north and south.
Absolutely. I am also in the Americas, hence the 9 o'clock stream time, Eastern.
Yes. Which, actually, speaking of which, I was going to talk to you. Would you be probably maybe willing to move this Sunday nights?
Yeah, I could do that.
Because normally you said you're on in the mornings doing streams in the mornings. You could do a Sunday morning show and get one of the Blitz to pop on.
Yeah, I could do morning on Sunday, no problem. I could do evenings on Wednesday, Fridays for the later crowd in the U.S. The morning I do really early because I have some friends and some viewers that are over in the U.K. So I've been trying to accommodate them. I go on around 6 o'clock in the morning.
I'm hardly on in the morning, but I figured like maybe if we get one of the leaders to pop on, because we get Vapid to pop on.
Yeah, that'd be a sweet. Like, we have an interview, see where the Aminos are gonna head from this day forward.
Dopes was talking about maybe he's like, as long as you have a guest on, have me as a guest. And we had talked about that as having guests on, and we're still trying to plan what we're wanting to accomplish here, but we definitely want to make this community based.
Yeah, I was thinking we could even just open up an open party and just let people drop in and say a few words. Hopefully keep it clean.
That's what I figured too. Yeah. Your people, Amino community members, there is a No Man's Sky PS4 community. It's an Amino PS4 community that's called No Man's Sky Amino without the apostrophe over the S. That's why people have been having troubles finding it. It's because
there's no apostrophe over the S.
Because the
Our glorious
PlayStation gives
leader-
you a choice of like 3 different apostrophes, and you don't know which one to use.
Yep. So, No Man's Sky Amino, no apostrophe. I'm already a member on there, and Vapid Wolf, our glorious leader, is the owner of it, so that's good things. And we have, I think, 37 or 38 members on it right now. But I figure we'll open up the party chat to that community.
And then see who
One
comes.
can drive the PS4. Yeah, because I don't know, I don't see how PS4, or not PS4, but PC members will be able to join our broadcasts, but
Mr. Sinclair says,
Yeah.
"Careful opening up the lobby." I have to agree to a certain extent. We have to be
Well,
reasonable
I
because
kind of wondered if we can find a way of dealing with the party settings where like everybody else who would be able to come in and be automatically muted, and then we'd have to like have like a call screener and
yeah.
like, hey, welcome to No Man's Talk. What's your issue?
Oh gosh, no. Maybe we'll do scheduled interviews instead. So how about that? If you're
Yeah, I
if
think
you're
that
interested
would work a little better.
in doing an interview or coming in for a bit of chat, just send a request, a friend request to either me or to Survival Guru, who you'll have to give him your call sign on PlayStation, because I can't remember right now.
Contact me on the contact me on the Amino for my my username on PlayStation, because I've had it a long time and it's kind of maybe offensive.
Okay. So mine is reaching Nexus. Just put No Man's Sky in your initial request so that I can catalog you and know who you are and where I know you from. Because it would be a shame if I played Destiny with you and said, "Hey, why don't you come on and talk about No Man's Sky?" So instead, we'll just have No Man's Sky people.
One other thing I thought about doing after doing this broadcast is with the public chats function, we will probably add a No Man's Talk public chat where we can get a hold of us through there, or I mean,
That's a good idea.
My
Yeah.
portal's always open, so I mean, guys can talk to me anytime. But I figure that way people can draw some discussion, and we'll figure out more topics based on discussions from there. We'll probably even talk on air about what's going on in our chat rooms, and yeah, we'll see how well this takes off. I think it'd actually be a great resource for the community, especially with the way. I mean, No Man's Sky has only been out for around 6 months now, and it's only going to get bigger. And we can hope that our community will grow along with the game, that maybe 2 years down the road, we will actually be the largest fan base for the game No Man's Sky.
The Amino community?
That's my
Yeah,
hope.
I would hope
The
so.
Amino community, yes. I mean, we already actually do, at times, post more often than Reddit does. I've noticed that by going flipping through the new on Reddit. That,
With fewer downvotes,
Yeah.
I might add.
yeah, the crazy downvote army. I'm like watching, they're flipping through my posts, and it's like moving up and down like the stock market.
Wow.
It's the craziest thing. Like if anybody wants to have some fun and just post things on Reddit at random, have a few good things, but have a few crappy posts or something, and just watch it. Just flip through every 3 seconds. Just watch this thing just go up and down. It's crazy.
Wow.
The only reason I'm on Reddit is because Steambot posted on Reddit for his pilgrimage, so I want to basically do exactly the same copy that he did, like in the same style, to drum up support for the games, the Foundation update. Everybody's all getting tired of playing. We've already done everything the Foundation update has to offer. Yeah, everybody's getting bored of the game, so
It's amazing.
Steambot did.
It's amazing to me how quickly people blow through content, because I'm not I mean, granted, I've sat here and talked for an hour and done nothing but follow other ships, so you can kind of see my style of play, looking for bugs
I'm staring
and
at a rock right now.
yeah. So, but
I
it's
haven't
what,
touched my controller in 10 minutes.
but it's like I gotta be honest, I never made it through the original content. I've played some Foundation content, I've played some of the original content, but I've got over 100 hours in, and I still haven't made it through the original content. Because I took the time to slow down, walk the planets, to see all the different variations in terrain. Like, I just flew over this crazy canyon that goes all the way to the bedrock, which is kind of cool. Getting distracted, and it's been phenomenal. It's relaxing, gives me a little bit of a break from my everyday, and there's something methodical about just going along in survival and gathering the resources to stay alive, but not worrying about advancing your ship and worrying about advancing your exosuit, but just to make do with what you have and find fun little places to explore on each planet and jump off of cliffs and jetpack to the bottom of canyons. There's just so much to, or just
Make
sit
your own
in
little
a
competitions, or
yeah.
make your own challenges.
Just enjoy a ship and a flyover, and the sounds, like the actual surround sound in the game is quite good. So like, you can just stand there and you hear the animals, and then you'll hear, a sentinel pass behind you, and then you'll hear a ship coming over a ridge, and you'll know where to look to see it fly over. It's
Don't mention
I think
sentinel sound. That thing's beginning to haunt me.
I just feel like people didn't give it a proper chance.
No.
Like, they just rushed through the content and
They
didn't
figure
enjoy what it
there's-
was capable of doing. They focused on what
if
it
a
couldn't
game-
do.
If a game is not structured anymore to where it has a beginning and an ending and a lore through the whole thing, people aren't interested anymore. They don't have a creativity to make their own game. I've always made the analogy of Minecraft. When Minecraft started out, I'm going to basically use it as when Minecraft started out on the PS4. We had a small map and no caves. It sucked. I mean, really, I was like, this is all we can do? Okay, well, I'm going to make a minecart roller coaster. That's about it. But over time, they added a whole bunch of updates, so we're always going to get new content. I don't see them making a No Man's Sky 2, so, I mean, I would
No,
hope
I think honestly, they'll probably for a while do this, and then they'll have to come up with some kind of, well, maybe they'll actually say, maybe they'll add like a third person for $2.99. You can finally see yourself in third person, like little gimmicky things like the Minecraft skins, or the themes or whatever.
Like
But
that.
I don't
like
see
that
them.
Pay to see yourself.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. But at the same time, I could see them. I know people are already speculating. They're saying, oh, they're going to start charging for DLC. I don't think they'll do that for a while. But if they're going to keep it going, eventually they're going to have to find some kind of revenue stream. They got a pretty big
I
boost from the initial offering, but at some point,
I've seen
they'll...
somewhere on Reddit that might have been a rumor, but somebody said that there was talk about making multiplayer a DLC, like a paid DLC, and I was like, oh man, that'd be one way to piss off the haters.
That sounds like a crazy rumor to me. But
Yeah, it
you
does
never
sound like
know.
a crazy rumor.
Well, and there's so much stuff out there and none of it is from Hello Games. Like I searched, I did about two hours worth of search just on the web, and then I went through all the Twitter accounts, I went through their Facebook page, I went through the LinkedIn pages for their developers. I was creepy stalker style on them. And
I typed in No Man's Sky News into Google, and it says you've visited this page, and I can't remember what day it was, and it was like, new news, Foundation update. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's just, and I know we talked about this earlier, but they just are so good at keeping quiet now, which is the exact opposite of what they were before launch. And I've heard people say that's because of the agreements they have with Sony, that it happens to any developer that does a Sony original or a Sony exclusive title, but I don't know. It seems crazy. But let's see, what did I find? I found they do still have job positions open, so if there's any developers out there listening, they're looking for an experienced developer with 4 years of experience, and then they're also looking for someone with an advanced computer science degree and they're calling that, I can't remember the name of it. The name escapes me, but it's a different category of developer that has an advanced computer science degree and is very good at math. They were very specific. You have to be very good at math. And then they're looking for still QA testers. So if you can do any of those things and you're in their area, go apply. Get this game moving a little bit faster for us.
Oh,
Everybody's waiting for the
they want some
update.
in-house testers is what they want, huh?
Yeah, they're doing in-house QA. So, and it seems like all the job postings referred in some way to No Man's Sky. So, right now I think that's their only project.
Yeah,
they didn't have mention of anything else there. So,
I mean, like, I'll admit the when I got this game and was able to start playing it and put a few hours in it, I was like everybody else goes, yeah, this kind of feels like an incomplete game. And
yeah,
I
I'll
think
give it
there
that.
was a lot of stuff they want. There was a lot of stuff they wanted to finish on it, I bet, and they realized, you know, we don't have the time. This took off a lot quicker than we expected it to, maybe, and yeah, I don't like to say with the whole the developers lied and Sean Murray's just lining his pockets with gold, and I'm just like, I try and think of a rational and realized aspect of, hey, maybe they did things wrong, but the product is still good and the potential is still very real and that's the best part about it.
Well, I don't like getting into the whole lied thing, because honestly, the game that was released, while it felt incomplete, was exactly what I expected.
Yeah,
So
I came on an open mind. I had no expectations of the game, but I had already and read it, because I don't buy a game without actually investigating a little bit, but it did exactly what I wanted. Save, exploring, plan.
yeah,
I just fight the speed of it.
I mean that's If I bought it more as well, this is sad, but I bought it more as a programming oddity than anything else, because I was like 6 gigs and it's that big? No way. And so I just wanted to see, like, how does that express itself? This concept that they came up with, this universe based on 64-bit integers. How does that, when you implement that, how is it expressed? What's the end product? And honestly, it's pretty much what I expected. But I didn't watch a lot of trailers. I watched a few interviews. I read some articles, and I tried to stay away from speculative articles. And I got what I expected. So I wish people would just go easier on him, because I mean, yeah, okay, fine. You can't see the other person when you go to the same planet at the same time, but you were never in a there was no promised cooperative gameplay anyway. So
one people were saying, like, the question could have been worded, is it an online game? Well, the Atlas, or what their whole Discovery portion is, yes, it is an online game.
Absolutely, it is.
Other places that people have been, and then people were saying, no, it's all randomized. No, the places that people have been are the same as the one you're on. I mean, yeah, sure, the Foundation update may have actually tweaked the terrain so that the one planet I was on wasn't the same one the Steambot walked all the way around.
Right.
With even in normal mode, the terrain could have been completely different. But noticing that the terrain was completely the same between normal and survival.
I mean, that's pretty. That's pretty impressive.
It is.
Yeah.
That each player still, like, the planet that you see is the same planet for each player. So technically, it is an online game. It's just everybody's invisible.
Well, the part that I like, the philosophical part of that, which is it's a universe that exists, whether you're experiencing it and measuring it or not.
Uh-huh.
And in every install is the same. It's the same experience if I go to that planet as you. We've already proven that with the Pilgrim Star app. you've proven it by going to that planet both in normal and survival. And it, just because you're not playing it doesn't mean it ceased to exist. It's physically existing, and as long as somebody has a PlayStation or a PC up running this game, that universe measurably, demonstrably exists. And so for me, the philosophical question is, what happens to the AI in the game when the last console or PC stops playing that universe? Like, is that the end? Is that the end of the world for them? Is that their, is that their rapture? Or is there like a mini rapture every time? Every time I turn off the PlayStation, is there like a mini rapture and they all go to the light? Like what? I mean, granted, the AI is not as advanced. That's one thing that disappointed me, is the AI a little bit. I mean, I love the ships, the trading, the paths, but the fact that everybody is sitting in a chair when I see them, it's just... It really, like, I'll leave this game and I'll go fire up an old copy of Oblivion just to experience, like, actual stories. And then I'll come back to this. Because it makes it feel so lonely. It's like there's all these guys in chairs and I still feel incredibly alone. Even at the spaceport.
Super mutant Cider come running at me, and I'm like, thank you, NPC enemy. Please hit me.
I'm not alone. Yeah. But that was what really struck me, and I've kind of lost that feeling a little bit now that I've gotten used to surviving. But I still remember that initial feeling of when you fired up the game for the first time and you started playing, and you died the first 10 minutes, and you got shot down by pirates, and you just felt so alone. It was and I remember somebody writing an article about how it was an existential crisis packaged as a video game, because you could go out there and into this infinite universe, and you knew there was tons of other people playing the game all at the same time. They're experiencing exactly the same thing, and yet it was just you in the vastness of this game, completely alone. And I remember actually experiencing that loneliness, which I don't experience as much once I started live streaming and I found community to talk to and get on party chat. It alleviates it. But man, when you're by yourself and you turn the lights down and you're playing and you're all by yourself and you're not streaming, it really does just feel like you're out in the middle of the wilderness, 3 miles from base camp by yourself, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, when I'm playing my survival and I'm running, I was running my 6-hour crash ship, and I didn't have any music running. I was just running with the not even the end game music was running. And I was just listening to the environment and all the different sounds. And it was just one time, just eerily silent. And I looked back at my ship and it said like 3 hours out. And I'm like, I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I have no way to leave this planet in an instant. It's just crazy, lone feeling you have, and it was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've never played a game before that has generated that feeling in me. Like, I've just never had a game like that. Like, usually there's a story and there's a ton of NPCs and you're following a path of progression, or you're playing in an MMO, or or even a cooperative shooter, and there's an obvious progression. But this was, here's the universe, do with it as you see fit, and you probably die. And for me, that was like, wow, this is probably the game that I'm gonna play when I'm bored with all my other games. I'll just come to this world, this universe, and see how it's doing, see what's going on, explore a few planets, enjoy the quiet and the loneliness and the simplicity of it, and move on. So yeah, so for me, it was exactly what I expected. And I was kind of disappointed to see so many people cause, so much vitriol. I mean, it was just incredible.
The havoc that was wrought. I mean, I've never seen it in any other video game, honestly.
Yeah, not in recent memory.
No.
No, I mean I've seen. You know, you have your YouTube rage reviewers, and you have your trolls here and there.
I would say Call of Duty, maybe the new one when the
Infinite.
Infinite Warfare.
Infinite Warfare, yeah. I did see a couple of Twitter. I saw a couple of tweets where people were like, "Wow, this thing's more incomplete than No Man's Sky." That was funny. Yeah,
Didn't the trailer for Infinite Warfare drop before Battlefield 1 did?
I think it did. I think you might be right on that. I have to go check.
Well,
but
the funny thing is they did, when the Battlefield 1 trailer dropped, and they had Glitch Mob playing, or doing a remix or a cover of Seven Nation Army. That was brilliant. I mean, it was just hilarious because you look at it and then you watch the Call of Duty one and you're laughing at Activision as they're screwing up this whole, we're gonna throw some more future at you guys.
Right.
But Battlefield 1's like, hey, we're going back to World War I, and here's Glitch Mob doing Seven Nation Army. It just perfection. Yeah,
it was a good move.
Yeah, it's one of those where the hair stands on the back of your neck and you're like, yeah. Anyway, that was off topic, and doesn't matter anyway because we're past.
Technically, we're past time. I'm flying in a canyon now because I lost all the ships. They all left the atmosphere. So the closest I got to the glitch was I had a ship that was right up against another one. It was on the right side, no, left side. It hit the other ship, jumped out to the left, and then switched to the right side of the other lead ship and then leveled out. But it didn't degenerate like that other video. So I guess I might have gotten lucky on that one. That might be less common than I thought originally. The AI might be more adept at flying in formation than I thought. Something unique happened there. So
I'm just wondering about if would like after a battle or before a battle wouldn't matter, but like after a battle when everybody just stops fighting at once. Have you ever seen them all group up at once? Because I've seen it where they all crash up and pile up in the front of the space station, but have you ever?
I haven't witnessed that yet, but I've seen videos.
Either, but I've seen the videos and pictures. But I wonder if a whole bunch of them go to a planet, what would happen?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
a bunch of them follow in formation, because I've seen them all move around. I've even seen every single ship in the area go after a bounty before.
Right. Oh, all at once?
All at once. I've got a picture on my profile. I got a picture on my profile on the Amino that says, "Boy, I wonder what this guy did."
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. The AI, man, it intrigues me, especially when they just sort of get in that glitch where they hover over a piece of empty ground.
Yeah.
And then fly away and then come back.
And then or the trade terminal where they pick up and then they land on the ground and then they take off again.
Yeah. Like what was that all about? Why you just felt like burning 200 plutonium? Like what was that for?
I was just standing there talking with this one guy, and a ship came up and just knocked me into the air for a little bit. I was like, what the hell? That's when I noticed them landing down on the ground and taking off again.
Yeah. Did you see the video? I think I saw it on Amino. It was someone standing on a platform, and two ships fly past the platform and blow them like across the world.
Yes, that was hilarious.
That was awesome. Yeah. I saw. It's like, wow. At least now we know. All right, so I think we're way over on our time here.
Yeah, we're way over.
We're 15 after. So if anybody's still here, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. If you came in late, just wait a little while and the videos will repost. There's one on my side, which is ship chasing, and then there's an exact duplicate of the audio, but a completely different visual over on Survival Guru's side.
Yeah.
But you don't need to look at my video. Mine just was just random stuff, and I don't move, and yeah.
It's all good.
If you want to watch it, go for it, but just mainly for the audio. It's a talk show.
Right. So going forward, we did this because this was the launch. We did both sides, but I think going forward we'll probably do one feed, and we'll just alternate channels. I think that'll be easier for everyone. And
that way we can maybe demonstrate some stuff that people want to see, or try to. We can make commentary on how either Nexus is running, or Nexus can commentate on how I'd be running through my Pilgrim series.
That would be pretty good,
But,
yeah. All right. So I got a message here, final message from Mr. Sinclair. He actually gave me a good video, guys. So thank you very much, Mr. Sinclair.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Sinclair, thank you for
And,
watching the entire.
Never underestimate the power of the like button. Seriously, it's a very powerful button. Use it wisely.
Yes.
Hit on my video, give us that like. Hit on Survival Guru's video, give him the like. Put that good feeling to work, and have a great day. Really appreciate it. All right, I'm gonna cut my feed off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here we go.